Hello, everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss classical management theories, and this includes scientific management theory, administrative management theory, and the bureaucratic management theory. So let's start with the scientific management theory, and this is a theory that was introduced by Friedrich Taylor in 1911. So the scientific management theory has some components that make up this theory. The first one being time and motion studies. Taylor conducted detailed time and motion studies to analyze the tasks performed by workers. By timing how long each step the worker took and observing the motions that were involved in completing the task, Taylor identified inefficiencies through this observation, and from there, he was able to suggest ways to optimize the process. Standardization of tools and procedures. Taylor emphasized the importance of standardizing tools and procedures to ensure consistency and efficiency across workers. So, for example, workers in a factory would use the same tools and they would also follow the same procedures to complete the task. The benefit of this is when you have a standardized process and when you have a standardized set of tools, the this reduces variability, right, in the output of these workers, and it also reduces the chances of committing errors, thereby bringing the quality standard of your outputs to a higher level. Next, we have scientific selection and training of workers. Taylor believed that workers should be selected and trained scientifically to perform their tasks. He argued that each worker has a specific set of abilities and that managers should match these abilities to the right job, then train the workers to perform their tasks optimally. So in this section, it highlights the importance of having a job, or not really a job, it's more of a an employee or a worker and a job demand fit. There has to be a match, there has to be a fit between what the person can do, the person that you have hired, and what the job actually entails. So if this worker does not have or has probably a majority of the skill set that is being needed by a particular job, but there are additional skills that need to be cultivated, then it is now your role as a manager or an administrator to step in and train this worker on the additional skills that he or she needs to acquire to successfully complete the task. Next, we have differential piece rate system. So Taylor introduced the idea of a differential piece rate system where workers are paid based on their productivity. Those who meet or exceed the standard output receive higher pay, while those who don't, then they are paid less. So this system was intended to motivate workers to increase their productivity. So, when Friedrich Taylor proposed the scientific management theory, he based it largely on factory work. Okay, that's why you will notice that a lot of these components pertain to factory work or workers who are being managed and who are expected to produce outputs that are based on certain goals or based on, with the help of machines that are located in the factory. So if we are to relate the scientific management theory in a modern context, the principles are still applied in industries, okay, in today's world, like manufacturing. So, for instance, in an automotive assembly plant, each step of assembling a car might be broken down and optimized to ensure that workers complete their tasks in the shortest time possible using standardized tools and methods. So, even if this is an old theory that was introduced in 1911, there are there is still a very strong application of this theory in today's world, but in more so in the manufacturing industries. Next, we move on to the administrative management theory that was introduced by Henry Fayol in 1916. So, Fayol identified five primary functions of management, and these are very similar to the ones that we discussed in the other video. These are planning, organizing, commanding or leading, coordinating, and controlling. Each function plays a crucial role in managing an organization effectively. So, when you speak about planning, you are deciding on the organization's goals and the best way to achieve them. Organizing involves arranging resources like human beings, financial resources, and material resources to carry out the plan. Commanding is directing and leading of the workforce to execute the plan that has been set in place. Coordinating is ensuring all parts of the organization are working together harmoniously. And controlling involves monitoring the performance and making necessary adjustments to stay on course. Fayol also introduced 14 principles that he believed should guide management practices. So, some of these key principles, not just some of them, would include division of work. Specialization allows workers and managers to become more proficient at their tasks and improves their efficiency when work is adequately divided among them and according to their specialization. Next, we have authority and responsibility. So, managers must have the authority to give orders and the responsibility to ensure they are carried out. Otherwise, if they're not given this authority, then they would not have any hold over their employees or their workers. And also, they would not be given the due respect that is required by the position itself. Then we have unity of command. So each employee should receive orders from only one superior to avoid confusion and conflict. If you have more than one supervisor or more than one leader in place, then it is very certain that this will create a confusion among the employees because then you are being put in a situation wherein each manager or each leader would give opposing or contradicting orders. And of course, how could you carry out the work when you're in this kind of situation? You're not exactly sure who to follow. And so, this is why we have unity of command because only one superior should be assigned to a worker or employee. We also have unity of direction, and this means that all activities aimed at the same objective should be directed by one manager using one plan. Again, this is to reduce confusion. And equity, by equity, we mean that managers should treat employees fairly with a combination of kindness and justice. In public administration, these principles can be seen in how government agencies are organized, structured, and being managed. So for instance, a public health department would have clear divisions of work. Okay, so departments, as in, for example, it may have departments for disease prevention, department for health promotion, and so on. And each employee would report to one supervisor to ensure clear lines of authority and communication. Next, we have the bureaucratic management theory that was introduced by Max Weber in 1922. Components of the bureaucratic management theory include clear hierarchical structure. So, Weber's model emphasizes a clear chain of command where each level of the organization has a well defined hierarchy. This structure ensures that everyone knows their place in the organization and whom they are expected to report to. Another item is the division of labor. So, similar to Fayol, Weber believed in the specialization of tasks. So each job is broken down into simple routine tasks, and workers are assigned specific roles based on their expertise. Next, we have formal rules and procedures. Weber stressed the importance of having formal rules and procedures to guide decision making and behavior. These rules ensure consistency and predictability in work and fairness also in how tasks are performed and decisions are being made. There's also impersonality. In a bureaucratic organization, decisions should be made based on objective criteria rather than personal relationships or preferences. Okay, so there is this impersonality or impartiality. This impersonal approach helps prevent favoritism and ensures that everyone is treated fairly and equally. There should also be merit based advancement. So, Weber advocated for merit based advancement where promotions are based on an individual's qualifications, experiences, and performance rather than who is closer to the superior, who is related to them, who is favored more by the superior. So, the advancement has to be only based on merit and their output at work and also, of course, the quality of their output. So consider a large public administration agency, like, for example, the Department of Education. So the department would have a clear hierarchy, of course, with the head, okay, or the undersecretary at the top, followed by, you know, um, assistants, okay, or deputy minister or directors and so on. Each department within or each unit within that department would also have specific functions. For example, you may have a unit for curriculum development, another unit for teacher training. Okay, and employees would be expected to follow established procedures for decision making and reporting within each unit, okay, separately and also within the entire department as a whole.